Alright guys, I've got a pretty cool video for you today. I've wanted to do light painting with an FPV drone for a while, and when Speedybee reached out with this multicolored Bluetooth LED strip, I figured it was the perfect opportunity. I also thought it was the perfect opportunity to build a custom night vision Pavo 20 that has the Speedybee LEDs around the sides and a switchable infrared LED right on the front. Alright, so before we hop outside and do some night flying and light painting, let's talk about this LED strip. If you're familiar with Speedybee products, you've probably used their Bluetooth Betaflight app. The app pretty much puts Betaflight right on your phone and makes configuration of your drone in the field 10 times easier. This LED strip not only adds the same Bluetooth connectivity to your flight controller, but you can actually configure the LED's color via the same Bluetooth app. So Speedybee is calling this LED strip the B35 Meteor LED, so it's meant for their B35 Cinewhoop frame, but you can honestly use it on just about any drone that has the space for it. This is the Pavo 20, and the LED strip fits perfectly around here and even fits underneath the flight controller. So any drone with the space, you can put this on. Let's quickly open this up and you can see what you get in the bag. You actually get a good amount of stuff. So here's the LED strip with the little Bluetooth board. So like I said, this is going to add Bluetooth connectivity to pretty much any flight controller that you have an available UART on. But this is the Bluetooth board, and then you have the LED strip. You also get a bag with some wires, spare screws, and you also get a little yellow TPU piece that's meant for the B35 frame. So this LED strip is technically going to be sitting back here. As you can see, there is a little cutout for this, so they did kind of make this frame for this LED. It's going to fit back there somehow, but we got all the screws and everything to do it back here. So I'm going to show you how to install this on the B35 frame. It's going to vary depending on what flight controller you got in there. I think I have an all-in-one board in here. I'm not really sure. But we're going to take this apart. We'll set up the LED strip, and then I'll show you how to configure it in the app. Alright, so I got my B35 pretty much apart. I have an all-in-one board on here that's actually upside down, so it's a little bit difficult to get to, but I realized that I have a Bluetooth module already installed on this. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm just going to cut these wires. I'm going to use the RX and TX wires as well as the ground to be the UART that I use for the new LED strip. So this LED strip requires 7.4 volts to 25 volts. This Bluetooth module is being powered off of a 5-volt pad on my flight controller, so I'm just going to add a power cable right from the battery connection because this thing supports up to 6S. So I'm just going to power it directly off of the battery, and that's how we'll get power to the new Bluetooth module. Alright, so cut this one off. Alright, so I got my drone all back together just to make this easier. Pretty much what I did was I extended the UART cables up to that UART that I was using for the Bluetooth module that I had installed. And those are going to be the wires that I hook up to the LED Bluetooth module, and then I added some power cables right at the battery connectors, and they're all coming out right here. So on the Bluetooth module out of the box, you're going to see that there's a couple wires already soldered to it, and we're going to actually take those off. You got a lot of LED to work with on this thing. But on the Bluetooth module, you're going to see that we have some cables already connected. Keep these ones connected to it. We can keep those. So now we'll take the Bluetooth module, and we're just going to remove this plug right here. There you go. Now you can either keep this, throw it out, whatever, dude. On the Bluetooth module, you have on the far end ground. Right next to that is voltage, and then you have TX and RX. So those are the two pads that we're going to be hooking up so that we can utilize the Bluetooth functionality that's built into this. So I'm going to put a little bit of flux on those two pads, and then we'll solder up the two wires that we just put on our flight controller. Got some flux on there. We'll tin them to make it easy. Boom. So here is our wires. Now obviously we have voltage and ground, and then these are RX and TX. For me, the blue wire is hooked up to RX on my flight controller, and then yellow is hooked up to TX. So when we're hooking this up to the Bluetooth module, you're going to want to reverse those. So blue is going to be hooked up to TX, and yellow is going to be hooked up to RX. Alright, so now I'm just going to use some blue tack to secure this to the drone. Before you do any soldering, if you're not using this drone, on this drone obviously we have like a customized TPU piece that's for this, and it's going to be sitting in plastic. But if you're doing something like this build that I did, where this is just kind of sitting in the middle of the drone, definitely put some heat shrink around that thing because you don't want it shorting out. And yeah, so if you're not installing this directly on this drone, put put some heat shrink around this. I'm installing it on this drone, so I'm just going to keep it like this. We'll solder up these wires one by one. Perfect. All right, so now that those are all soldered up, this thing is ready to go into the drone. All right, so now to secure this down, we're just gonna push these wires down into this little area. They're gonna sit kind of inside there. You can feed them through with some tweezers or something. Basically get it to the point where you can put this Bluetooth module almost flat, right like this. There's a button on one side. You want that button facing down on the drone, so you want it sitting like that. And then the LED just kind of comes out the back like that. So now with this kind of sitting, kind of secured in there, we're going to take our TPU piece that they include with the LED, and this is going to just sit right like that. Perfect. So they give you new screws, and this is going to go right into this one. Cool. And then they also give you some smaller screws, like this right here. You guys can see that thing. And that is going to install on the other end. So right like this. The cool thing about this LED is that you can make it any length you need. So there is a lot of little spots that you could cut this so that it can fit smaller drones like the Pavo 20. And you can really customize it for whatever drone you want to put it on. So let's feed this right through here. And I'm just going to work my way around. Drones all together. I got the LEDs on the side. Let's see what it looks like. That's sick. So, oh, that's so dope. So as you can see, there's kind of a pattern that's getting pushed throughout the entire thing. I didn't cut any of these LEDs. This LED strip is meant for this drone. So watch these little rings right here. This one's gonna go up and then it's gonna pass right into here. So the LED strip actually begins and ends right here in the back. So to control all the different colors that you can get out of this LED, all you gotta do is download the Speedybee app, and then we're gonna hit the plus button down the bottom. It's gonna immediately recognize this, connect, and now you can either select LED strip editor or the FC tuning. So if you wanted to configure any settings on your drone or tune it at all, you would switch this to FC tuning, and you would just have to make sure it's connected via UART like we did before. Or to change the color, you select LED strip editor and then enter LED strip editor. And now you have a bunch of different effects, and you can control the colors, how fast it does stuff. This halo effect, if you wanted to adjust the color, all you do is slide that over, and now we have red. We can slide this around to blue. Could have it be green. So this is really customizable to however you want it to look. And you can also adjust the brightness. So if you want it to just be not that bright, you can have it be like that. So you have a lot of control through this app. And if we go back, we can try these other ones. We've got breathing effect. And you have full control over that through the same setting menu. So you can change how bright it is, how fast. So there's that. We've got twinkle effect. It's kind of cool looking. You can pick the colors that you want, and then you can change how fast it flickers. So you could have it be a little bit more dull like that. We'll make it be Christmas colors. Go back, we've got guiding effect. That's pretty cool. We can obviously change all the different parameters with this one as well. You can change the direction. So now it goes from, instead of back to front, front to back. Now if we go back, we've got rainbow effect, and this is pretty cool looking. You can pretty much change the speed of this. Speed and the brightness and the direction. Meteor effect. It's pretty cool. And then we have flame effect, which actually looks kind of neat. Before we hop outside, I know I'm going to get some questions about this drone. This is a Pavo 20 with a Night Eagle HD on board. You're also probably saying, what the hell is that LED around the lens? That is a CCTV infrared LED ring that I found on Amazon for $6. The thing fits perfectly around the RunCam lens and it requires 12 volts. The Pavo 20 is a 3S drone, so I pulled 12 volts right from the battery, put it on a switch so I can actually turn the infrared LEDs on and off with a switch on my controller. The infrared LED is just hot glued to the frame. The camera fits right in the middle and you can actually still control the tilt a little bit. Then of course we have some of the Speedybee Meteor LEDs on this. There's plenty of space in the middle of the drone to squeeze the Bluetooth module in there. So this is a really fun little nighttime drone. So let's take these two outside and do some light painting. To do this, I'm going to take my Sony a7 III that I'm filming this video with and a GoPro Hero 11 to get the pictures. And I'm going to play with a couple different LED settings on both of these drones to get some different effects.